On a cold autumn morning in a quiet Canadian town, a mechanic named Ethan was closing his shop early. Business had been slow for months, and he wondered every day how much longer he could keep the place running. He had grease on his hands, unpaid bills on his desk, and a heaviness in his chest that never seemed to leave. Just as he turned off the lights, he heard the faint sound of a child crying outside. Curious and concerned, he stepped out, and that was the moment everything changed. A little girl, maybe 6 or 7, stood beside a broken pink bicycle. Her eyelashes shimmered with tears, her small hands red from the cold. She looked up at him with big hopeful eyes and whispered, "Sir, can you please fix my bike? I don't have money, but please, it's for my mom." Ethan felt something inside him soften instantly. He knelt down and gently asked, "Why is it so important today?" The little girl swallowed hard and said, "Mom works all day and walks me to school every morning. I want to ride this bike so she doesn't get tired. I just want to help her. She deserves to rest." Ethan felt a lump in his throat. No child should worry like that. Without a second thought, he said, "I'll fix it for free." As he worked, the little girl sat nearby, kicking her small boots against the ground. She talked about her mom, how she worked 2 jobs, how she never complained, how she always made sure her daughter felt loved even on days she had nothing left to give. Ethan listened quietly, moved by how much love the girl carried in her tiny heart. When he finished fixing the bike, he gave it a quick test ride and handed it back with a smile. The girl's eyes sparkled, but before she left, she did something that completely caught him off guard. She ran back to him, tugged at his sleeve, and said, "Sir, can you marry my mom?" Ethan froze. He had no words. She continued innocently, "You're kind, and she deserves someone who is kind." Ethan didn't know how to respond. He laughed softly, then knelt to her level. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lily," she said proudly. "Well, Lily," he replied, "I don't know your mom yet. But kindness is something everyone deserves, including her." Lily nodded thoughtfully, then surprised him again by grabbing his hand. "Come meet her, please." Ethan hesitated. His shop was closing, his life was messy, and this was something he had never expected. But something inside him said to go. Maybe it was Lily's innocence. Maybe it was the loneliness he had carried for so long. Maybe it was the feeling that fate had quietly tapped him on the shoulder. They walked a few blocks to a small apartment building. Lily excitedly knocked on the door. Her mother, Sarah, opened it, looking exhausted but gentle. Her eyes widened when she saw Ethan standing beside her daughter. "Mom, he fixed my bike for free," Lily announced proudly, "and he's really nice. You should marry him." Ethan almost choked, and Sarah's face turned red with embarrassment. "Lily," she whispered urgently, but Ethan lifted a hand and smiled. "It's all right," he said kindly. "She just has a big heart." Sarah invited him in to thank him properly. The apartment was small but warm, filled with the smell of fresh bread and the quiet evidence of a hard-working single mother. They talked for a while, about work, life, struggles, dreams. Sarah shared that she had been raising Lily alone since her husband left years ago. Money was tight, but she tried her best. Ethan found himself opening up in ways he hadn't in years. He told her about the failing shop, the loneliness, the fear of losing everything he had built. Sarah listened without judgment, with the kind of warmth that made a person feel understood. Time passed without them noticing, and Lily fell asleep on the couch, her small hand still clutching her newly fixed bike bell. When Ethan finally stood up to leave, Sarah looked at him with a softness that wasn't there before. "Thank you," she said quietly. "Not just for the bike, but for being someone kind in a world that isn't always kind." Ethan felt something shift inside him. Maybe hope, maybe connection, maybe the beginning of something he didn't dare name yet. Over the next few weeks, Ethan saw them often. Lily would stop by the shop, sometimes just to say hi. Sarah would bring warm coffee or freshly baked muffins. Slowly, naturally, they began to become part of each other's days. And one snowy evening, as they walked home together, Lily slipped her little hand into Ethan's and whispered, "See, you're already part of our family." Ethan looked at Sarah, who shyly smiled back, and he knew Lily wasn't wrong. The mechanic who once felt alone, and the mother who carried the world on her shoulders, found in each other something rare, a quiet, steady love born from kindness. And the little girl who simply wanted to help her mother ended up changing all their lives with one innocent request. Sometimes hearts meet in ways we never expect. Sometimes a free bike repair becomes the beginning of a new home, a new hope, and a new family. And sometimes, it takes the courage of a child to bring people together the way destiny always meant to. Let me know if you want thumbnail lines, image prompts, description plus hashtags, or a shorter or longer version.